Could be the final day of testimony and certainly one of the most dramatic yet in the Casey Anthony murder trial. Take a live look inside the courtroom right now. All eyes on that young woman accused of killing her own 2-year-old daughter back in 2008. Casey Anthony could take the stand in her own defense. Earlier, both of Casey's parents were called to the stand once again. Cindy Anthony testifying that over time the family buried several pets using plastic bags and duct tape. And defense attorney Jose Baez asking George Anthony if he buried his dogs the way Kaylee was found, in a in a blanket with plastic bag wrapped around it with duct tape on it. Doug Burns is a criminal defense attorney. Tad Nelson is a former prosecutor. Tad, did the line of questioning help either side here?
You know, this is the first day Jose Baez has gained any points.
Really?
As bad as his day was yesterday, I think today was the first time he's done anything positive. Yesterday it was so bad, I wanted Cheney Mason to reach over and grab his shirt and say, hey, we've helped him enough today. But today, he's making a great timeline. He's trying to say George Anthony is a liar, although lying about women, what guy isn't going to do that? But then now he takes him to burying these animals, and he's trying to make it similar to burying Casey Anthony. That's how he's going to do it. That's why Casey's not going to testify today, because now he's got some doubt. You're thinking George Anthony is involved in this burial. And you know what? I've been bad-mouthing Jose Baez for 6 weeks. Today was good. Today he's did good.
All right, but Doug, doesn't it also show, I mean, the prosecution put Cindy Anthony on the stand to suggest that Casey saw these animals, or at least one of these animals being buried, and sort of learned the family method of doing so.
Yes, John, but working off of Tad's point, I mean, if the prosecution's job, which it always is, and Tad would agree, is to keep it simple, direct, and understandable, and the defense's job is to make it confusing and mucked up, my God, this guy's Perry Mason and Clarence Darrow rolled into one, despite everybody's criticisms of him. I mean, this is the most confusing presentation I've ever seen in my life, and I think it may be creating doubts.
So you think it's working for Jose Baez?
On some levels. I mean, I felt it was a mistake, honestly, John, to get up in the opening and commit to 2 theories, thus creating sort of a miniature burden of proof about her being molested and the child drowning in the pool. But notwithstanding that, he seems to have been able to make a comeback from prior debacles and actually start scoring some points. I mean, at the end of the day, as many experts have said, I think this jury feels that she did not intentionally, with premeditation, kill the child, yet at the same time, I think they feel as though she's responsible for the death. And then there's this unbelievably confusing series of events, covering it up, lying, panicking, etc.
Yeah, Tad, the defense has said that this is going to be the last day of testimony. In saying that, it sure seems to me they're saying we're not putting our client on the stand, because if Casey gets on the stand, that's going to be a multi-day affair, wouldn't you think?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that'll take through the weekend. I've said the whole time, every time I've talked about this case, there's no way she could testify, and especially after today. The fact that they have literally, this is the first time, I mean, first time, Jose Baez has created any doubt in anybody's head. He has showed that George, I mean, it was brilliant how he said, hey, George is responsible for burying these animals. And now he's trying to show similarities between how this child's buried. The problem is, if Casey were to testify, she would have to respond to that. You know, how the child died, when was the child put in the bag, and all that stuff. She'd have to have some knowledge of that, and she could only, you know, like a word that Doug and I both use, muck it up. And the bottom line is, you know, so in this case, Casey, if she testifies, is going to ruin today. And today's the only good day she's had.
But Doug, real quickly, I mean, by opening up the trial the way that he did, Jose Baez, by saying that, you know, Casey was going to, that all these things were going to be proven, he's got a tall hill to climb.
Excellent point, John. But now what you do is you resort back to the law, which is, and you'll find this interesting, opening statements are not evidence, ladies and gentlemen. As I told you at the outset of the case, the judge will tell them. And couple that with the defense has absolutely no burden of proof. That's all you can go with. But it was still a mistake what he did there.
All right. We'll see what happens. They are going to be back in court 1:30 Eastern Time, about an hour and 40 minutes from now. Lots of developments yet to come. Tad Nelson, Douglas Burns, thank you both.